Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Wake up every morning at 3 a.m. because that's when I start my grind in. And I got no time for slumbering and chit-chat talk with a fake friend. I'm on my grind, yeah. I'm on my grind. You need a job, I'm on my grind.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to Kingdom Business Builder. Happy Tuesday. We have Clay Clark, the Kingdom Business Builder, in the house with us. We'll be right with Clay. First is Kingdom Fuel. Grab your Kingdom Fuel. Fuel your life with 20 grams of clean protein, organic veggies, essential nutrients, all for less than a drive-through meal. You look at how this is compared to the next slide. Look at that. $1.91 scoop, $3.80 for 2 scoops. I usually take 2 scoops. I had mine this morning, and compared that to Big Mac, Chick-fil-A, a Whopper. Look at 66 grams of total fat with Chick-fil-A. Dr. Sherwood says you should only have 60 grams a day. Also, we have the Kingdom Fuel Sampler. If you want to try it, we have great recipes. That's $9.99. You can try it either chocolate or vanilla sampler right on your screen. All right, next is Purely Prepared Patriot. Say that 50 times. All right, 40% off hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. There's a strand that was reported this morning coming from China again. We won't shut down, but we want to stock up. We know ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, work. You can get this without a prescription, 40% off. I proactively take the ivermectin on a daily basis. All right, next is prayer kits. It's the most important thing we can do. Take authority in the name of Jesus Christ from north to south to east to west of our territory. Mama His Glory has the prayer. You have the shofar to go far. You blow the shofar. The evil does not like the sound of a shofar. And you have the anointing oil to anoint your doors and windows in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the prayer shawl to go deep in prayer and meditation with the Lord. Also, last, luxury for a cause. Donate your high-end items to support His Glory ministry mission. Bring a billion souls to Christ. We're accepting high-end bags, jewelry, clothing. If you feel the tug in your heart to donate, go to hisglory.me. Donate. QR code. Make a difference today. Help us get to 1 billion souls. All right. That's all the announcements. It's time for Clay Clark. Clay.
Greetings. How are you, Super Dave?
I'm good. How about you?
Well, I'm fired up to teach everybody out there watching today's show what super success looks like. President Trump is out there doing a lot of things to help make the American economy great again. But backstage at these Reawaken America Tour events, Eric and I were discussing kind of like, what does the future look like once President Trump gets back into office? And for Eric, I'm sure people have seen this because it's on public display. He's running around growing the Trump organization. He's really looking at the future of currency and doing a lot of things that he can do to make his companies great again. And things he believes that he can do to make America great again. But I'm asking you, if you're watching today's show, what can you do to make your wallet great again? Or maybe make your wallet great for the first time if you grew up like I did. And so, Dave, on today's show, we're going to break down what super success looks like. And I want to start off with a video clip here. This is a client of ours out of South Carolina. And in my opinion, Dave, this is what super success looks like, okay? This is Jenny. This is her husband, Mike. They have a business called newconcept.healthcare. That's the website, newconcept.healthcare. And let me hit play real quick. Look at this cute baby. What a great baby. Quality baby. That's a healthy baby. Okay. Jenny and Mike, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you two?
Hi. Thank you. Good. We're doing well.
Okay, now I'll start with you, Jenny, because frankly, Sean likes you more. No, I'm just kidding. So, let's start with you. So, how did you first discover us and the business coaching that we provide?
So I was listening to different podcasts about business. I was starting up our business. So
Dave, this is a very normal person, in my opinion, very normal person. And I think that some people, Dave, believe that success by default is for other people. So I want to get your thoughts on that, Dave, before we get into the stack of stuff. Why is it that we as humans oftentimes look at someone who's having super success and we think to ourselves, that's for somebody else. That's not for me. And we just don't ever take the time to look up and say, I could do that. Or what is it that causes us, Dave, just to sort of settle and not view every day as a gift from God, but to somehow just accept mediocrity in some capacity?
I think it's the world captures us into day to day, not looking for something better, and we talk ourselves out of it. And I think that's one of the biggest keys: talking yourself out of it. They have a better personality than me. They have a better skill set than me. I can never do this. When you can do that, you have to take massive action.
Now, on today's show, I'm going to walk you through 5 pro tips you can implement right now. By the way, for anybody watching today's show, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can join Eric Trump with us in September. Eric Trump will be here in an audience of approximately 400 people. Eric Trump will be here. Pastor Dave Scarlett will be here. Amanda Grace will be here. Julie Green will be here. It's going to be an all-star lineup. That's September 25th and 26th. It's going to be a blasty blast. Alina Habba, I just talked to Alina Habba today, the attorney for President Trump. She'll be here September 25th and 26th. And June 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is joining us here in Tulsa, Oklahoma for our interactive business workshop. So again, go to thrivetimeshow.com if you want to learn more about that. But here we go. Step number 1, you have to make a list of the problems that you can solve, whether you are an employee or an employer, whether you're self-employed or you're an employee. Dave, why is it so important? If you're in the workplace, you came from corporate America and you had success. We'll kind of role play this out. Let's pretend that I worked for you as an employee and I just finished listening to this His Glory podcast and I came up to you and you're my boss and I'm working for you at corporate America and I said, hey boss, I'm not looking to make extra money. You don't have to pay me more. But could you tell me anything that's on your plate, any problems that you have, and I will be happy to stay after work today to get them done or get here early tomorrow. And I want to commit to doing that. for the foreseeable future? Because I know you've got a lot going on. Why is that so uncommon? And what does that do, Dave, if somebody does that?
Well, it takes you right up to the top of the list with your employer. Yeah, your employer has so many things that are on their plate that they got to get accomplished. You're looking for people that can create solutions. And I used to do that with my boss at AT&T. He was number 3 in the entire AT&T. I'd always go up and say the same thing to you as you just said, Clay. I said, what can I do, boss, to help your job better? And at first he kind of looked at me like, what's in this for you?
Yeah,
and then he realized it.
Now, again, we go back to this, going back to Jenny, this entrepreneur, newconcept.healthcare. That's a real company. And if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll see thousands of success stories, literally thousands of success stories. I said to Jenny, you're in the medical space. Why don't you make a list of all of the solutions that you can provide for the people of your community? And she's going, okay, we could do family medicine. Okay. I could offer hormone therapy for people that need it. Okay. And she made a big list. So if you're watching today's show and you say, I'm stuck financially, whether you're an employee or an employer, what I want you to do right now is make a list of the problems that you can solve. Step number 2, you got to identify your ideal and likely buyer. So if you're an employee, your ideal and likely buyer is your boss. So, I mean, although it's a nice idea to open the door for every single person who works in the workplace and to do their work too, I would recommend that with the limited time you have, it's probably a good idea to be a kind employee to everybody you work with. But I'd also go out of your way to identify your ideal and likely buyer, which is your boss. And so I would say, make sure you go to your boss and say, hey, boss, what can I do to solve problems for you? Now, if you're a business owner, go back to Jenny. Jenny has a limited marketing budget, just like everybody watching today's show has a limited marketing budget. And you have to figure out who is your ideal and likely buyer. Aaron Antis, who's been on your show multiple times. Aaron Antis, he's been on your show. We helped him grow his company, shawhomes.com, from $14 million to $150 million. Well, who's the ideal and likely buyer for shawhomes.com? It's somebody who's looking to buy a new house. But who's looking to buy a new house? This just in, 90% of the buyers for Aaron Antis, and maybe even higher, were women. This just in for Jenny, the healthcare provider I just showed you, 90% of her customers are women. My daughter today has an orthodontist appointment. Who scheduled it? Who scheduled it? My wife. Why? Because 90% of purchases made in America today, someone should not believe me, look it up. The vast majority of purchases made in America today are made by women. Now, there's certain industries where if you're watching today's show, you're a business and you sell products to other businesses. But as a general rule, a lot of the day-to-day purchases are made by women because women do so much work at being a mom. It turns out is a full-time job. Dave, why is it important, though, that for somebody out there to really dial into this idea and to get out a sheet of paper and to actually write down who is your ideal and likely buyer? Why is that important, Dave, that we take that exercise to go, okay, who is my ideal and likely buyer?
You got to establish a target. It'd be like playing basketball without a hoop.
There it is. You know, Dave, we've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of the listeners of the His Glory community, and I'm going to tell you 3 patterns I've discovered while talking to many, many of your listeners. 1, they all love Jesus. This just in. Everybody who listens to the His Glory Network loves Jesus. Why is that important to know? Because if you were going to do market surveys and market research and call random Americans and ask them how you could take His Glory to the next level, they might say, oh, you know, you should feature this secular training, this secular concept, this secular idea. But you know your audience, and the whole purpose of His Glory is to grow His glory for His glory. So the His Glory audience, the ideal and likely buyer, happens to be people that love Jesus. The second thing, the His Glory audience loves the prophetic report. I've discovered they love prophetic updates. They love Julie Green. They love the prophets. They want to know what God has to say. They know the world has certain things to say, but they want to know what God has to say. And finally, I've discovered that your listeners love the War Room. I keep hearing it. People say, the War Room is my favorite. I love the War Room. Well, why is that important to know? Well, it's important to know that because your ideal and likely listeners to His Glory, they love the prophetic report, they love the War Room, and they love Jesus. So if you're watching today's show and you love Jesus, you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, go to thrivetimeshow.com. You got 8 seconds before the break, folks. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, thrivetimeshow.com. Request tickets. Join us with Tim Tebow, Eric Trump coming up. thrivetimeshow.com.
80% of people use CBD products for 3 reasons: anxiety, sleep, and pain. And the testimonials that we've gotten back from your followers have blown off the charts.
I absolutely love this product. My entire life, ever since I was a Marine, I've always struggled with sleep. I can't shut my mind out. And I've been taking your 2000 at night, a drop of that. The last 2 months, I have slept better than I have ever slept in my life. If a product does not work, I do not promote it. But not only does this work, it has helped my sleep the last 2 months like I've never slept before.
We're just absolutely thrilled to announce this buy one, get one for the His Glory customers. We're really looking forward to you listeners taking advantage of that.
This product tastes good. It's the best I've ever used. It's absolutely amazing. Everybody needs to use this.
Welcome to the world of Q Broadcast, where the future of home entertainment is here today. Now you can say farewell to cable and other streaming services that limit your options and open the door to unlimited possibilities. Q Broadcast gives you the power to choose what you want to watch, when you want to watch, and where you want to watch your favorite shows and sports on up to 5 devices simultaneously. Q Broadcast brings together all your favorite streaming services in one place for only $2 a day. That's live TV, movies, new and classic TV series, pay-per-view for only $2 a day. And for all the sports fans, Q Broadcast offers your favorite college and professional sports from around the world. Upgrade to Q Broadcast today and start enjoying the freedom to watch what you want, when you want, and where you want for only $2 a day. Q Broadcast. This changes everything.
And we are back, Kingdom Business Builder with Clay Clark. Clay, back to you.
Okay, so if you're watching today's show and you want to know 5 pro tips right now to get unstuck, again, I want everyone to know this. If you join Tim Tebow and I, Eric Trump and I, Dave Scarlett will be here, Dave, you'll be here, Alina Haba will be here, Julie Green, Amanda Grace. I'm telling you, become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to join that conversation, go to thrivetimeshow.com, request those tickets. Those tickets are always $250 or whatever price you want to pay. How does that work? It's literally whatever price you want to pay. We've always done it that way. This is my 20th year hosting business conferences, but we get back into our stack of stuff here. So pro tip number 1, if you want to make your wallet great again or great for the first time, find a problem and solve it. Whether you're an employee or a self-employed person, find problems and solve it for your ideal and likely buyers. 2, identify who your ideal and likely buyers are. It is so important to do that. It is incumbent upon you. It is your responsibility to know who your boss is. Just moments before we hopped on today's broadcast, I was talking to a guy who paints things. He's a painter. One of my clients is a painter. I said, Mr. Painter, it's a true story. I just talked to this painter client moments before I called you. And he said, Mr. Clark, I'm at this property right now, and this person is paying me to stain their property. I said, that's great because you're a painter. You stain things. I said, however, I want you to use the method we've been teaching you here. I want you to ask the person, the customer, about all the problems they have related to their home. Tell the customer to their face, say, again, this is a painter, a real client. I said, ask the home buyer, say, or the homeowner, say, what are the problems that you have in your home that you kind of are on your honey-do list? And he says, okay. And he said, Clay, I'm a painter. I said, I know, but I know you're also a handyman. Make a list. Go talk to the person. So he calls me back. And this was the call we had. He said, sir, this person wants me to stain their sauna. This person wants me to stain the exterior and the interior of their house. This person wants to know if I can restain their floors. This person wants to know if I can build, these are facts, wants to know if I can build and or move a guest bedroom. They want to know if I can do stone features to their house. They want to know if I can freshen up their flower beds. This is all this call. They want to know if I can maintain their sauna and their hot tub. I said, well, of that list, what can you do? He says, well, honestly, I can do all of it. I go, there you go. And again, this is not a magical thing. This is not sorcery. This is not demonic. These are real systems that work. They seem obvious, but most people don't do these by default. Step number 3, you want to over-deliver with a spirit of excellence. And I don't know that I always do it, but man, I try. I hop on this wonderful show with you, this great opportunity, and I hope everybody out there catches a spirit of enthusiasm, knowing that I sincerely believe I have good news to teach you how to grow a successful company. But if I showed up on this show and didn't bring energy clarity and preparation and detail and practical pro tips, that would not be good. So I'm asking you, if you're watching this show, are you showing up at the workplace to wow your boss, or are you just showing up? Think about that for a second. If you're self-employed or you're an employee, I remember I worked at Target, Applebee's, and DirecTV, and I read this book called Think and Grow Rich. I read this book called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I thought to myself, if I just finished this book called The Magic of Thinking Big by the author's name was Schwartz, and I've just finished reading this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I should probably implement what I just learned. And so I remember doing it for the first time. I'm at Target. I remember thinking, I'm going to try to wow the customers. And so a guy came in, his name was Todd Starkey, true story. Todd comes in and I said, Todd, this is a random Target customer, by the way. I said, hello, sir, how are you? He said, I'm looking for a CD for my wife. I said, super great. I'm working in the electronics section. I said, my job is to wow you. I said those words. My job is to wow you. I said, so what are you looking for? I helped him find what he needed. I said, do you need anything else? He said, no, but I mean, you're the most energetic, most helpful Target employee I've ever seen. My name's Todd. I said, my name's Clay. Todd comes back a few weeks later. True story. I said, Mr. Todd, how are you, sir? He says, Clay, how are you, man? I said, great. What can I help you with? He said, I'm looking for a camcorder. I'll never forget it. A camcorder for a Christmas present. Do you have a recommendation? I said, oh my gosh, yes. Because I knew about every product, Dave. I had read all the products, all the descriptions. And I said, well, based upon what you're telling me here, you're going to want this one and not this one. And he says, you are the best. He says, what do you do? I said, well, I run this DJ company called DJconnection.com. Full transparency, sir, we do about 2 events a week. And I'm looking to do someday like 80 a week and 90 a week, 100 a week. But I do 2 a week, and I work here to pay for, insurance and that kind of thing. And he says, I'm the program director. I'm the intern director for a company called Tax and Accounting Software Company, Tax and Accounting Software Company. My job is to bring in interns. How old are you? And I said, 19. He says, well, would you like a job? I said, yes. And he literally took me from my $7 an hour wage I made at Target. He offered me $15 an hour back in the year 1999. Folks, unbelievable. All of a sudden, I doubled my wages by simply over delivering. That's a true story. Todd Starkey is the one who gave me my opportunity. So if you have the mindset that you're going to wow every single person you come in contact, that is unbelievable. This is the pro tip for you. If you over deliver, soon you will be overpaid. That's a pro tip. If you over deliver, soon you'll be overpaid. Final pro tips here for you. You got to gather testimonials. References, and reviews. I'll never forget once I got that idea. Michael Levine taught me. This was the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, Prince, Nike, and Pizza Hut. I paid that guy over $20,000, by the way, for this pro tip. He said, Clay Clark, I'm the world's leading PR expert. And I said, I know, that's why I'm paying you. He says, you know how you know that? I go, I know. He goes, because my books are endorsed by everybody, because I've got testimonials, I've got references. The only reason you're calling me, Clay, to help coach you is because you know that I've worked with Charlton Heston, that I've worked with Nike, that I've worked with Pizza Hut. And you know why you know that? I'm going, I don't know why I know that. He goes, because you found it on Wikipedia, Clay. Go to Google, type in Michael Levine, Levine, public relations, and you're going to see that I have gone through the effort of documenting my successes, and you must do the same thing. And Dave, that is so powerful, and you know this because you climbed the ladder at corporate America. You have got to gather testimonials, references, and reviews. Dave, you never know about your next job opportunity. You never know about your next potential customer. But what happens if you are not intentional about gathering references, reviews, and testimonials if you're trying to move up with your business or your job? Dave, what happens by default if you don't do that?
You're going to go backwards. You're going to default. Yep. Your business will default.
It's going to happen. And I'm just telling you, His Glory, the reason why every single podcast you've ever done is documented on hisglory.me. I mean, people can go back and find prophetic reports where Julie Green said that God showed her something would happen, and then they can go and see that it happened. And I mean, people can find prophetic words that Amanda Grace said on your show years ago. They can find something that Julie Green just said, and they can see where it happened. People can see, Dave, you were one of the only broadcasts in America, and I remember like it was yesterday, you were one of the only broadcasts in America that said, folks, listen, we've got to not forsake the gathering. We've got to continue to share the good news. We cannot do lockdowns and quarantines. People can go back and watch those. People can watch the interviews you've done with Laura Logan. People can watch the interviews you've done with General Flynn and the other great generals on the War Room. People can watch. There is an archive. If you're watching today's show, there is an unbelievable archive of thousands upon thousands of great broadcasts that you have diligently archived. Your wonderful team has archived over the years. And the reason why you don't just record an interview and then throw it into the proverbial ocean is because people want to be able to reference and see the previous guests you've had on the show. For anybody who's hearing this for the first time, His Glory is the only show that I know of where you've interviewed America's top generals, the top generals, top celebrities, top sports athletes. I mean, it is wild. I encourage everybody, but again, let's participate in the conversation. Let's be excited about what His Glory's done, but let's implement this. Again, knowledge without application is completely meaningless. And the final pro tip here, once you nail it, you've got to scale it. What does that mean? Going back to Jenny with newconcept.healthcare, we had to make a call script for her business. We had to make on-hold music for her business. We had to build a website for her company. We had to create a process for onboarding new patients, the whole clipboard, fill out the form. We had to make a system for everything. But once you make a system, then you want to scale it. Once you nail it, you want to scale it. And that's how you create time freedom. You create time freedom because you get paid based upon the value you add to the hour, not based upon the hours that you work. That's a Jim Rohn quote. Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn. You get paid for the value that you add to the hour, not for the hours that you work. And for somebody out there, if you are stuck in the wage cage and you have the mental capacity to listen to this show and the tenacity to deal with 15 minutes from me, I encourage you, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Thrive like a thriving plant. This isn't the Survive Time Show. This is the Thrive Time Show. This is not the Mediocre Show. This is the Thrive Time Show. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Take action right now. Action. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and request tickets to join Tim Tebow, the legendary football player turned entrepreneur, June 5th and 6th, and join Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Pastor Dave Scarlett, Alina Haba, Eric Trump. Folks, that lineup is so hot, I almost burned my retina talking about it. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. That's September 25th and 26th. Dave, I couldn't be more fired up because I know that somebody who's listening to this show right now is going to get unstuck. Dave, I want to get your thoughts about this. His Glory, this is you do the show for His Glory, but it turns out it costs money. Why does it cost money for His Glory to reach the world?
Because to scale it, to be able to put a network together and all the things that go into a network and get it on all social media, get it on its own servers and be protected by evil, you got to be able to scale it. And it takes resources to do that.
And I know this, I won't mention the names, but I know some of the wonderful listeners of yours who've donated faithfully to His Glory over the years. I've met people who faithfully donate at hisglory.me, and they do it every year. And the reason why they do it is because they know that their money will be put to good use. And so if you want to give more, donate more, be a bigger donor in your church, sow more seeds, you got to make more money. And how do you make more money? Well, you got to implement what I just taught you on today's show. And if you say, Claire, I want to see some success stories of real people, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Dave, we have over 2,000 success stories documented right there at thrivetimeshow.com. And Dave, with 15 seconds on the clock, I volley it back to you. Back to you, Dave.
Hey, I'm so happy you referenced Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was a huge part of me learning the corporate world and inspiration. I love Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was amazing man. Amazing man.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called DJconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group, I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're like a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls. We've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? You know, what level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly encouraging all the time, and he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. It's he keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something, and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or when was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business? Or was that something that you were maybe excited about or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.